Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be covering three mice, the MSI Versa Elite, the Vaxi XEV2, and the Ewadine L1 Pro. The MSI mouse and the Ewadine were sent out to me, but it will not change my thoughts or opinions on them. But let's start off with the MSI Versa 300 Elite. So first of all, in terms of the box, you have a kind of cheap box. The only thing you get inside is the cable and the necessary things to actually use the mouse, like a manual. But in terms of specs, this does come with a PAW 3395 DM. I'm not sure what the difference is between that and the regular 3395, but in terms of performance, there wasn't any noticeable difference. The max DPI is 2600. This is a tri-mode mouse, so it will support wireless, wired, and Bluetooth as well. They do claim this does last 200 hours, and I'm not sure about that, but I've had this for about a week and a half, and I have not had to charge it yet. And the polling rate is a maximum of 1K, so you're not going to get 2 for 8K support. In terms of clicks, I'm going to let you listen to them for a second. So in terms of the actual switches in here, I couldn't figure out what these were. They don't feel anything insane. They're good enough. Like, I'm not complaining about them. I don't really feel a ton of pre-travel or anything. They're not the easiest clicks to press, but they're fine. They're usable. The scroll wheel is super mushy. I would not recommend this if you really like having a nice feeling scroll wheel. And the side buttons, they're okay. They're not the greatest. The front one's a little too far up, but they're usable. In terms of coding, the coding kind of reminds me of like Razer's Viper Ultimate coding. It feels like that, but a little cheaper and less grippy, but kind of the same texture. And then the sides are like the sides right here are kind of like bumpy and grippy. The sides actually feel really good. And then you have the RGB that comes out of the sides and the logo. In terms of the stock skates, so as you can see, they're very small right here. So you're going to have a hard time fitting some dots. Like the small size ones will fit, but larger dots and regular size ones are not really going to fit. In terms of the sensor ring, I did have to take it off because when playing on glass, it was like causing stutters. I think it was just too thick and like too high, higher than the other skates. So if you do get this mouse, I'd recommend just removing the sensor ring. There is also right here is a spot where you can keep the dongle. What I would recommend for MSI is just to remove this spot and make both skates a little bigger. The actual quality of the skates is not great. It could be better, but it's definitely like usable. Like as you can see, it's definitely gliding. It's just a little muddy. But overall, they just need to make the skates a little bigger, swap out the sensor ring, and get rid of this. Anyway, they should be using a 4K adapter at least. But in terms of overall QC, there isn't any side flex. I didn't use dots, so I couldn't really tell if there's any base wobble. But with the stock skates, there isn't. In terms of software, there is no software for this mouse that I know of. The keyboard didn't have software either. But this is just a 1K mouse. You have a DPI button, so you don't really need to change. You don't really need software for a cheap mouse like this. So I'm not really gonna knock them on that too much. In terms of performance in game, I was using this and it was completely fine. The performance was fine. I had no issues, no stuttering once I removed the sensor ring. And yeah, like this isn't going to be a Vaxee performance mouse, but you can play fine with this. In terms of price, this is $40 at Micro Center. That's the cheapest I was able to find it. At one point, it was like 40 on Amazon on sale, but on like Amazon and regular pricing, it's closer to 60. So at $60, I don't recommend this at all. There are so many better mice at $60, but for $40 at Micro Center, I can recommend this to someone who, let's say, is buying a PC at Micro Center and just doesn't have a mouse and just needs to pick something up. Then I would say this is definitely a okay option, but pretty much every other mouse at this price I've tried is better. Like this isn't bad. I just think you could find better. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. And if you want to buy this, I'll have it linked below. But let's get on to the next mouse, which is going to be the Vaxi XEV2. So for the Vaxi, I didn't get the box with this. I did get this secondhand from another reviewer. As you can see, there's no serial number there because this is an original review unit. But what comes in the box is pretty simple, just a cable and the 4K dongle. It would be nice if they put an extra pair of skates or some grips, but that's pretty much it. In terms of the specs, we do have a 3950 sensor, adjustable DPI up to 3200 if you use the mouse controls. If you do the software, you should be able to do more. The polling is maxed at 4K. In terms of clicks, I'll let you listen to a sound. So these are Huano switches. I'm not sure the exact one, but these are the best clicks I've ever used on a mouse. Every time I get a new Vaxi mouse, the clicks just feel better and better. There was no issues with the scroll wheel or the side button positioning. I had no issues with that. The scroll wheel usually bothers me that it's too low on a lot of other Vaxi mouse, but I guess with this shape, it didn't really bother me at all. In terms of the shape itself, this is like a medium claw shape where it goes down a lot on the back and also kind of in the front, and there's a hump towards the back but still somewhat mid. I'm not sure if this is exactly like a super light. I have seen this compared to one, but overall I think it's a great shape for medium hand claw and palm grip. It could be great as well. My hands are 19 by 9, so as you can see, I claw it like this. You can definitely aggressive claw it, and if you have larger hands than me, you could probably fingertip it as well. I think this is just a very safe standard shape, but I definitely enjoy the shape a lot. In terms of weight, this should come in stock with the stock skates at 59 grams. So it does feel a tad heavy. Like it would be nice if it was slightly lighter. Like my NP01S is like 56. I think they need to reduce this by like 5 grams and the weight will feel perfectly fine, like in a sweet spot. In terms of coating, the coating on the black Vaxee mouse feels the best out of the other coatings I've tried on the blue or red. Like fingerprints do show up more than the other colors, but the actual coating is super grippy and rubbery. I don't sweat as much, and it doesn't get as slippery as the other Vaxee colors I've tried. So if you are buying a Vaxee mouse and you want the best coating and you don't care about color, from my experience, I would recommend the black one. Um, in terms of base wobble, I'm just going to mention it. This unit did have some, but this is an earlier production unit, and they did say on the newer ones that they fixed the base wobble, and I haven't seen anyone complaining about it, so I don't think it's something you have to worry about. And with this dot configuration I have right now, it doesn't wobble. It was just with 4 dots, so it's not something you have to worry about, but I just always like to mention these things. In terms of the web driver, there is one. I've used it with all my other Vaxee mice. It's great. It's simple and it's fine, but you can change the controls with this button right here. And in terms of performance in game, again, Vaxee mice are always the best performance in game. No issues. Feels extremely responsive. There's nothing really to talk about performance because it's just the best. In terms of pricing, this does come in at $140 before shipping. And you can get them on the used market already. I've seen plenty. So if you want to get one for like $100, you can go on Reddit or something and you might be able to find one. But I do think 140 is fair because these are just the best quality mice. Overall, would I recommend this? Yes. If you have medium hands, maybe even slightly large hands, and you want a symmetrical shape, I mean, this is just one of the best mice I've ever tried, and it's such an easy recommend if you think the shape works for you. I just had no issues. This is just such a solid mouse. But let's get into the last one on the list, the Ewadine L1 Pro. So in terms of the Ewadine L1 Pro, this is a magnesium mouse. As you can see, there are a lot of holes, but in terms of what's in the box, so you have a box that opens up from both sides, and in the box you'll have accessories like the wireless charging stand, extra skates, and wire. And then let's get into the specs. This is a PAW 3395. It has dual 8K polling, meaning wired and wireless, but this does support Bluetooth, and there is a 500 milliamp hour battery. I've only used this a few days, so I can't tell you if the battery is good. This mouse, I did do the least testing, so just take it with a grain of salt. In terms of clicks, I'm going to let you listen to them. So these are Huano 100 mil clicks. They are a bit heavy and they're not the best feeling clicks I've ever tried, but they're good enough. They're decent. I wouldn't complain too much about the clicks. The scroll wheel does feel a little cheap, the encoder. It's not the best, but it's not nearly as bad as the MSI, and it's okay. The side buttons themselves feel very pointy and not comfortable to use. If you're very heavily using side buttons, you might not like these. This might not be the mouse for you. In terms of shape, I noticed this is almost a one-to-one clone of the MCHO's AX5. This is what people would call a mini GPX. As I said, I don't have a GPX, so I don't know if I can call it that, but that's what people have called this. But it's a pretty decent small to small shape. I can claw it. You can definitely fingertip it. You can palm it if you want. Like, this will work with a lot of people that have small to small medium hands or medium hands. Like, if you have super small hands, this still might be a little big for you, but I think it's a pretty good shape. It's pretty low profile. The hump is more towards the front. I think it's a pretty safe shape. In terms of coating, the magnesium feels very premium and cold, and I didn't really have issues with like slipping off it. It still feels somewhat grippy. It's not the most insane coating, but it's good enough for a magnesium mouse. In terms of these stock skates, I took them off. They are usable, but there's these kind of cheap black skates. They're not the greatest. They feel muddy, but they're okay. In terms of software, it's a pretty basic software that most Chinese mice use. It's not a web software. You do have to download it, but it'll do what it has to do. In terms of performance in game, this is super responsive. It feels really good. It's not going to feel as good as a Vaxi mouse, but it's definitely a good responsive mouse with no performance issues. This does come in at 52 grams with a lot of holes, and it does not feel very well weight balanced. It's very front heavy, so it is not the greatest mouse sometimes when you're aiming. I don't know what to tell you. If you want a good weight balance mouse, don't buy this. It's also pretty heavy for a magnesium mouse with this many holes, but the side holes didn't bother me that much. Usually they bother me more when they're like lines up instead of to the side, but it might bother you. The price is $80 before shipping. I do feel like that pricing is fair. You are getting a really nice colored magnesium mouse. You're getting a charging stand that has adjustable RGB. So I think the price is fair. If you're looking for a cheap-ish magnesium mouse and you don't care about the weight balancing or the side holes, then yeah, I can recommend this. It's not a bad mouse. It's decent, but it's nothing insane, and I'll just leave it there. If you guys want any of these mice, I'll link them all down below. The Vaxee is my easiest recommend. The L1 Pro is pretty decent, and the MSI is a hard recommend, but like you can still pick it up. It's not gonna be terrible, but I'd recommend other mice. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and let me know in the comments if you prefer mice reviews with 3 mice at once or just dedicated 1 reviews, and I'll see you in the next one.